today we have Yasin. Yasin, welcome to the show. So, just a brief about Yasin before Yasin, I hand it over to you to share about yourself. But you're the founder and owner of HQ Recordings, yeah, and a
Yeah,
multi-award winner artist manager, yeah.
yeah.
So, there is a huge list of awards with Yasin, but we will touch base on that at a later stage. So, Yasin, tell us about you and yourself, you and your company.
So HQ is split into two different companies. We've got HQ Recording Limited, which is a business that I run my record label and artist management company through. And then there's a community interest company called HQ Can, which is a community interest company that stands for Creative Arts Network. So that's a really socially minded business with a board of directors. We use music, events, mentoring. We teach people entrepreneurship skills. It's quite a varied the way that the people we work with are really varied. So we work with some people maybe with mental health difficulties,
Oh,
ex-offenders, but we also work with graduates and people trying to get into the music industry. So yeah, it's kind of part education, part just a safe creative space for people to express themselves. And we do, so we have HQ Media, we do open mic nights, we do basically everything. HQ is like a one-stop shop, so people can come, we can write, record, we can mix and master the music, we can
mm,
make the artwork, the music videos, we can do the launch parties and events. We've kind of got everything an artist might need to get started. So we do artist development packages as well, and yeah, we just try and do it all, like so we've got really we've got that community, social
mm,
mindedness, but we really want to go to the very top, and that's
wonderful.
that's that's what we're working towards.
Mm. That's so good, Yasin. And you just reminded me of the fact that how music helps, in the mental well-being and in your well-being, wherein it's just not music, but it's a form of, people have different meanings for music. And I'm so good that, you have such a broad spectrum of helping people through music. That is so inspiring. So, Yasin, you are inspiring so many people. What inspired you to start this journey?
So I think what it was is basically when my son was born, it was born with the cord around his neck and he got cerebral palsy and I lost my job
Mm,
and I kind of knew that I needed to help look after him, and so I needed a job with flexible hours. And then I thought also the jobs I was doing, I thought that I couldn't really see the long-term progression like as a full career. So at that point, I was a delivery driver. Um, and I thought I needed to do something where I could be my own boss and choose my own hours. So I kind of looked around me at the people that I knew, and a lot of my friends, some of them who I was on a music course with when I was a kid, they were all still doing music. So there was a producer and a sound engineer and a DJ, and they used to do free parties and stuff. So I said, look, no one's really making much money because you're all so creative. Maybe I can build a business around everybody's talents, and we can teach other
mm,
adults who are not quite there yet, and try and work out how to actually turn this passion into a career. So it started off around that really. So it was never something I dreamed of as a kid,
mm,
or a kind of
mm,
something that I fell into really
mm.
because I knew so many talented people. And then we did it. When we did it, we realized we love it, and it kind of, that's how it all started. We did a few kind of courses in libraries and community centers, and then
Mm,
I managed to
mm,
get a studio, and then everything kind of just went from there, really.
mm. That is so good. Yasin, you have reminded me of two things. One, we always tell when we work with business owners, we tell them your business goals should be aligned with the personal goals. What's happening in your personal life, because personal, family comes first. And I think
Yeah.
you are a great, you're a great example of doing that. And second, I was reading about this concept of using the problem. Most of the time when we have some problem in life and we just put ourselves in some sort of a shell, what to do about it. Whereas you have used that obstacle and come up with this great opportunity, and you're doing so well, yes, and well done.
Thank you. And yeah, and to be fair, like I didn't really go into that bit, but I think a lot of it as well for me is when I was young, I was brought up in a, like in a single parent family and, quite a poor council estate. And, I was expelled from school and, there was not a lot expected of me as a kid because I was a little bit naughty. And because of that, I kind of lived like that, So it was also one of the things that I wanted to do was help people from, similar areas, from similar backgrounds, and kind of make a success of
Mm,
myself and then help them to do the same, So it was kind of doing it at the same time because we was learning as we went. But I kind of just thought, like why, it's kind of a glass ceiling mentality. I can't do this, I can't do that. So I
exactly.
thought, you know what, I can do this. I can start a business, or I can, I can be a director, or I can, so it was about, I suppose, doing it and then empowering other people to do the same.
Absolutely. Yasid, you've really broken glass ceiling for yourself, and why we say that, and, in the start, I said you are multi-award winner, and I'm not going to read all the awards because this is a huge list, yeah, but just to name a few: British Empire Medal 2020, yeah, Honorary Doctor of Music 2023. You became the UK's Social Entrepreneur of the Year in 2020. And there is a huge list. Yeah. And what you just share about your own self, from where you started the journey, from where you are currently. What do you attribute your growth to?
What, I attribute it to my son really, because that's what gave me that drive, and I kind of I had before I had my son, like I was a drug addict to be honest. I spent like 10 years as a heroin and a cocaine addict. And when my son was born, as soon as I knew I was going to be a dad, never having a dad, something just like it's like a switch was just
Mm.
flicked instantly. And then I thought, you know what, I need to be somebody that my kids they can be proud of and can look up to, So I just switched everything completely. And I think I just put that same drive I had for getting high and doing bad stuff into doing good stuff. I was like, if I can put all this energy into business, like surely I can be successful, and then the more you do, the more you want to do, whatever I suppose whatever goal you hit, then the goals keep getting bigger and bigger, So, but I
Absolutely.
think for me, the growth has just been like I suppose being relentless and so determined that nothing's ever going to stop me because I've got to prove to myself and my kids, like that anything is possible, and if you want to achieve something big, you can. So I think it's definitely being a dad is what I attribute it to.
Absolutely. You've reminded me of my motto, and I always believe if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And either way, you will prove yourself right.
100%. I've got a lot of similar mantras as well that kind of helps keep me on track and stay positive and keep working, like I say, relentlessly. So for me, it's 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 kind of an addiction within the
Mm,
business because it's like I go to sleep and I'm having ideas. I'm waking up and I'm having ideas, and it's not. And I never. I switch off maybe for a few hours a day if I'm watching TV, but generally
mm,
but
mm.
I love it, and it's a good addiction, because
Great.
it's about it fuels me and I'm passionate about it. I get to work with amazing people and I get to help other people, turn their lives around. And the reward I get from that is so great. It's much more than financial. I call it soul food, like this is feeding me. This is the feeding my soul. This is my legacy, like and being able to see other people start their businesses or become successful musicians or whatever their success might mean to them, even if it's just being more in a better place mentally, like but being able to help things like that is really rewarding and it's a privilege for me to do it. So yeah,
Mm.
I live and breathe it.
Yeah, by the sound of it, it seems, the passion and the drive which I can feel from you seems as if you've found your purpose in life.
Yeah, 100%. And I never knew what it was. I always knew I wanted to work with people. I just didn't know in what capacity. So now it's like I get to work with so many people in different capacities, as a mentor, as an advisor, as a manager, as a label owner, as a consultant, all different ways. But every part of it is kind of, it gives me the chance to try and help people, and it helps me just by helping them, because it keeps me
Mm,
happy, and
mm,
like it shows the people that look up to me, like where I came from and where I am now, and I
mm,
have a pay it forward mentality where the people that I help, I encourage them to then help other people,
mm,
So I kind of want to create that snowball of positive
mm,
people doing positive
mm,
things, because it's easy to be negative, but sometimes all it takes is to somebody to give you a chance and an
mm,
opportunity, and then everything can change. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So, Yasin, so we were looking at your journey, and now looking at you as an employer, your business journey. So there's a very strong why you started it, for your son, and you got into this, and you can see multiple awards, you've got a lot of success. But as an employer, as an entrepreneur, what learnings have been throughout the journey? What are your learnings in that, in perspective of the business side?
I think with the business side, I've learned a lot, I suppose, around what you need to do around growing a business, a lot about having, being able to look quite far ahead, So we
Mm,
have like a 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 year exit strategy kind of plan, So
perfect.
really thinking to look quite far ahead, and I suppose being knowing to I kind of feel in business is often about, like having your story and your mission, but then being able to apply it to different methods depending on what you're going for, So, a
Mm,
business plan for an investment is going to be completely different than maybe
mm,
for a business plan just for your board or for yourself, So
mm,
learning to, I suppose, repackage information in different ways so
mm,
that it can get you whatever it is that you need. Like I say, whether that be a loan or whether that be a partner or a funding bid, whatever it is, And I think
mm,
also, I suppose that there's a lot of things that don't always go somewhere, but
mm,
it's kind of a bit of a numbers game, So a lot of meetings are just meetings and they don't turn into something. But every now and again, you get that great meeting that then turns into a partnership or a really
mm,
good bit of business, So, but like,
mm.
I suppose being open, to networking and some of the
Yeah.
things that I didn't used to like doing, but now I understand the value of
Mm,
like networking and relationships and, kind of, I suppose, selling yourself and your business.
yeah. At the end of the day, it's all human to human interaction. So you're
Exactly.
absolutely right. Relationship plays a very vital role in there. So, Yasin, I often, when I speak to business owners, and we look at the different areas, the challenges which business owner face, because it's always a trade-off, in life we go through. So often these challenges are either time related, team related, money related. Yeah. So throughout your journey, where do you see the business challenge? You know.
I think the challenges have always been financial to an extent, because I started with nothing and no business education and no, obviously coming from a poor background and, so it's really started very grassroots, and it's always been a bit of an issue of trying to finance the growth of the
Yeah.
business or, trying to keep the having the money to keep the team that you want around you, so the team has fluctuated from really small to really big. My
Mm,
payroll has gone from like 0 to 9 back down to 0, but
mm,
we
mm,
work now with a lot of freelancers. So I work with 20 freelancers and I kind of use different people for different things.
mm,
So I think the
mm,
challenge is, and I think another challenge in Leicester is, like, because it's not necessarily a big music city. There's not really a music industry, like it's kind of doing something new. It was
mm,
maybe some of the things that's like it's harder, so I suppose, to have the level of support that you would have
Mm.
in London
Mm.
or Manchester, or like a city that's got a music industry to tap into. So it's
Mm.
kind of a bit of a challenge, the fact that it's new ground and we're having to build a lot of these things from scratch. So,
Mm.
but other than that, it's generally financial, and
Mm.
I think that you can always overcome it, but it can become a little bit draining sometimes, like always having to chase, like, but and again, that's why the planning helps, because okay, well, I've got the
Exactly.
next
Mm.
6 months covered. I've got 6 months to now make sure I get the next 6 months covered. So
Yeah, yeah. You've actually hit the nail there, the planning, the forecasting, if you have a financial forecast, if you can see how much is the money coming in the next 6 to 9 months or a year, but how comfortable is that for a business owner to look at it? And as you
yeah.
and I were discussing about before we started, financials, it's actually tells you the story of the business. The numbers tell
Mm.
you the story of the business. So Yasin, my next question would be, because we've touched based on the money aspect and also the aspect that you are big on planning, yeah. What is the vision for HQ Recording?
So the vision for us is basically just to keep on growing. So like at the minute we've got a great creative hub. It's an amazing premises, but we want the next level to be like a HQ center of excellence where we've got additional studios and we've got performance space and rehearsal spaces, podcast spaces, co-working kind of
Mm.
environment. And then with the record label, it's just to keep rising as well. Um, we want Brits and Mobos and Grammys, like, so we just keep pushing relentlessly to get to the top. So that is the future, and it's not kind of like if it happens, it's just when it happens, So we just gotta stay busy, keep putting out quality products, keep building this, and then also to franchise the HQ Center of Excellence out into
Mm.
other cities that are, again, smaller cities that might not have that
Mm.
infrastructure of a bigger city. So yeah, basically build it up, franchise it out, make
Mm.
millions of pounds, live a
So
happy
that's
life.
so no, it sounds good. I mean, so the plan is to franchise HQ Recording, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Uh, that's great. That's a great vision to aspire for, having big dreams is very important.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for myself as well, it's like I like to think big, and it's like within the music. For myself personally, like as a manager and a music executive, again, I'm aiming for the top, not to be the top in Leicester, but to be one of the top in the country, like and
Wow,
and
love
and
that.
have that national and international presence, and it's like I'm putting the work in and making the connections and learning what I need to learn to make it happen. So, and I put that down for all my producers and artists and my team, like let's dream for the biggest, the actual, the dream as big as you possibly can, and absolute worst case scenario, if you don't hit that, we're still going to go far because of how big the dream was, like where I am now is already far exceeded what I ever thought I would get, and obviously now my vision has changed and the vision grows and grows and grows, so
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you aim for the moon, you end up somewhere, yeah, closer to the stars. So I
exactly.
love that. I think that's the vision which defines Yasin being the number one in the country. Yeah,
Yeah.
lovely, lovely. Yasin, to end this, it has been a fabulous. It's great to have you. To end this, I think it would be fair to ask you, if you have to start your business all over again, from the scratch, what would you do differently?
No, I wouldn't do anything differently. Like I don't really believe in that kind of stuff. I feel like everything that's happened has been a major learning part of the journey. So I feel like with any bit, even the bad bits, like I wouldn't be where I am now, so I wouldn't change anything. Yeah, I would maybe been a bit more positive and ambitious in the beginning if I had to choose. But I think generally it's all organically gone exactly how it should. And yeah, I wouldn't change it.
Love that. Love that. Love that perspective, Yasin, there. So nothing to be changed. You absolutely love the way your life is currently. Yeah. And I think that's a great vision to aspire for. Keep dreaming big, and we wish you all the success that you become the number one. And I'll be there. Yeah. Waiting
Thank
for
you
that
very
to
much.
happen. Wonderful. Thank you, Yasin, for your time. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.